Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for your support. Here we review and reveal. Multiple media reports have emerged about a question that Kenyans are really looking at. 7 bullets attempt in Raila Odinga's personal car, and the reports are emerging that the two offices, that of Deputy President Kindiki and Kindiki, are reading from different script, with calls now piling on President William Ruto to call the cabinet to order, as the cracks and splits that are emerging in the wake of Raila Odinga's mass protest is actually showing that there are those who are sympathizers and those who are against it. It could not come, it is not coming also by surprise that there are elements within the same cabinet that see the fact that Raila Odinga could be accessing critical intelligence from the operations of the police after a video emerged on him being on his security details being on a radio call by some officers on the other end. The reports have really emerged differently, with those saying that there are those who, and of course, we are in this country, and political affiliation is something that you cannot underestimate, even in the forces, even in the security sector. There are those who support Raila Odinga, and there are those who do not support Raila Odinga. In fact, the criterion of Nairobi operation, according to me, is something that has to be relooked at. While something is happening that Kindiki did not welcome the attack on the farm, on Uhuru Kenyatta's farm. He did not give, and that's why he did not give a reaction immediately, but gave a reaction a day later. But that was really to show that as a person who is in charge, he was fully to be blamed for what might have befallen the other team. Now, in the wake of that, we've seen that there is only 2 officers, there's only 3 politicians from Mount Kenya whose profile has been in the light, that is Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, and Ndindi Nyoro from Murang'a, and Kimani Ichung'wah from Kiambu. So the whole thing has turned political, with now analysts looking at it as the Mount Kenya political dynamics now playing in the fold, but Kindiki is not very comfortable with the fact that he's not part of it. And again, you need to remember that Kindiki and Rigathi Gachagua at one point were actually at loggerheads fighting who to be the William Ruto's running mate, even though Kindiki had an upper hand when the election, rather the nomination was done in Karen. Recently, the deputy president was in Madeira a day after attack on Uhuru Kenyatta's farm, and in defense of Kimani Ichung'wah, he actually said that in the mountain, the senior-most politician after him in government is Kimani Ichung'wah, because he's the leader of majority in the National Assembly. Something that people read differently, because between those who are in cabinet and those who are in the National Assembly, holding positions in National Assembly, who exactly is influential? Question is also emerging on the influence of the majority leader and those who sit in plum government ministry as that of the interior. And you can read that Kindiki would actually see himself as a man who is second most powerful, close to Rigathi Gachagua. But a decision for them to be intertwined in a ministry that then would make them work together probably was a trap enough that is causing this crack. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to look at it keenly. The reason why the interpretation behind Kindiki not reading in the same script with Rigathi Gachagua. I want us to explore that and looking at it in a manner, just trying to draw observations from the latest political activities that have been seen in relationship between the two offices. I want to humbly request you to subscribe to our channel. If you're watching this video for the first time, kindly subscribe, share our videos, and also I want to say thank you for those who are supporting us with any financial support. Yeah, I've pinned the number there, so any support can also go in a long way in making this channel grow beyond this. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Kindiki is a lawyer. And the moment Kithure Kindiki was given this ministry, I think the country and the law fraternity was celebrating that at least now, away from the orthodox management of that ministry, it was now getting someone who was an intellect, someone who will now obey the rule of law, and will actually inject sanity in that ministry. Remember, if you look at just the way, starting from Kaiseri, was the Minister of Interior, then took over to Matiang'i. If you look in Kaiseri and Matiang'i reign, that ministry was actually perceived as a ministry of terror. It is the ministry that dealt with a lot of opposition, cracked opposition politics in the heydays of Uhuru Kenyatta's reign. And even at the height of the 2017 general election, you see the way the police were early orthodox there back then when it was under Matiang'i. So it was understood that when Kindiki was thrown in that, was actually sent in that ministry, then it would be managed differently. But if you ask me, remember even Miguna's case was about court orders that the same ministry never obeyed. So I think this is it. Kithure Kindiki, the lawyer, is seeing that a responsibility is in his shoulder when things go south. There is a responsibility that is in his shoulder. I want you to look at this video. If you look at this video, this is a video of Rigathi Gachagua meeting with security personnel. Now, it's in the office of... I want you to get it. It's in the office of Rigathi Gachagua, and clearly it tells you that he's actually... Now, this happens before the last mass action on Monday. That one that was held on Monday. So that was held, and looking at it, there is one man that you don't see there. And the man you don't see there is actually one Kithure Kindiki. So all those who are there, you could also see only the PS and the IG and the rest. So there have been discussions that Kindiki is being sidelined in some of these operations. By the way, this video actually was pulled down. I think the social media team photo, social media team pulled down that photo on the grounds that perhaps they realized that it was communicating so loud cracks in terms of what is happening. So this is it, that while Rigathi sees a responsibility is on his shoulder, if someone was to ask for what went wrong for Uhuru's raid, I don't think the first question will go, the first person to be asked is the deputy president. The first person to be asked is Interior. But there is a feeling like he is being bypassed. Secondly, this I can see is something that could be an inside behind the scene games to make sure that he's frustrated and pushed out. And it has nothing but to do with the politics of Gema East and Gema West. As we speak, the senior most person in government from the Gema East, which is the Nithi, Tharaka Nithi, Meru counties, I think is none other than Kithure Kindiki. But then he seems not to be a man in conformity. Look at this, try to look at this also in the context of what is happening in the North Rift on the project of, or rather the operation of neutralizing the bandits. You could actually see that there is a well-laid script to depict or rather project Kindiki as a man that has not yet achieved it. There is a law enforcement, and this is it. There is a law enforcement unit and framework, everything within the context of the law. But there is the orthodox operating means, which many people call the Moi era script. Others choose to call it the Museveni tactics. So there is the rule of law and there is Museveni tactics. I have been asking, what happened at Uhuru Kenyatta's garden farm and Raila Odinga's company? And bit of the goons that we've been seeing is the Museveni tactic. So Rigathi is a man that was uniformed, and I think if you ask me in terms of competence, he is the man that really could actually handle that ministry. If you ask me, and maybe con president and president, mimi kwa sababu mimi nilikuwa polisi, nilikuwa kwa hii, nilikuwa deal na watu, I can really handle that sector. But I tend to see that the good lawyer is seeing much of rule of law, is trying to pursue the rule of law than the Museveni tactics, and that can actually bring the split. He's been criticized, but of course, he's just doing the wrong thing, but the right way. He's talking about proposed changes in the Public Order Act on how to prescribe mass actions, or rather the rights to picket and demonstrate moving forward. I think we are all talking about the proposals are wrong, but no one is questioning the means. Because as a lawyer, he's saying, let's go and change the law, or let's make an amendment on that act. So there is a bit of that, but on the other end, I see him as a man who is not comfortable with the Museveni tactics that have been deployed in the street. Lastly, the political interests in Mount Kenya is entirely what is being executed through the consistent Uhuru attacks, and critically, they're actually suppressing Kithure Kindiki influence. At the end of the day, the talk of town is about Dede Nyoro, Kimani Chungwa, Rigathi Gachagua, and they have put themselves at the top of it. They're the ones that are at the top of the game. Now, as the politician in Kindiki would also see that technically, he would not aid such a political scheme to change the dynamics of Gema, or rather to up the stakes of individual leaders, or rather the profile of individual leaders at the behest of his delivery as a minister. So it's a very critical aspect, and I was just reading this article in the Star. It was actually an editorial, it's an editorial saying President Ruto should fix cracks in the cabinet as things go. Gachagua is reportedly not seeing eye to eye with Interior CS Kindiki, yet they both hold key positions. Some of these information is actually coming from insiders within Ruto's rank and file. Let's meet in the next.